It was awesome. It was really very engaging, and we really saw each other in a lot of that.
Just as soon as I thought I would lose it, there was some humor.
I want to take this home with me, is how I felt the first time. That's why I'm coming back.
The relationship that I have with my daughters has always been very special to me, and when I talk to other fathers and daughters about their experiences, I was very touched by the things they were saying.
Plays are mirrors of the soul, mirrors of reality, of life, and this one really hits a chord with a lot of people.
It's authentic because it was culled from actual interviews.
People just said some incredibly wonderful things, poignant things, tragic things.
There's a story for everyone.
One of the most interesting things to me is the sort of emotional roller coaster ride that the audience goes on.
It's so well written, and it is. We bring it right to the audience without making them feel uncomfortable, without making them feel something's being demanded of them, other than to just be drawn into our stories.
There's no more words than what I need to tell the story, which allows me to tell 64 different stories in a 90-minute period.
The way I see it, I've always tried to be a good man, a responsible man. I've tried to be kind and to live by the golden rule. I've been a loving son and a faithful husband. So, the good Lord said, here she is. Here's your daughter.
Daddy.
Yeah, baby.
How did you and Mommy meet?
You want to hear that story again, don't you?
Yeah.
Your mom and I met on a bright blue sunshine day in a beautiful park on a big sycamore tree by the smoothest, gentlest lake in the entire world.
How smooth was the lake?
As smooth as your mama's cheeks.
And what was she doing?
Oh, you know what she was doing.
She was picking flowers.
That's right. Tiny little pink and purple and yellow wildflowers. And they were just all crying out to your mama saying, pick me, pick me. And I could see why. Your mama was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. It was if the Lord put down his favorite angel right under that tree for me. And I asked her to marry me. Right there on the spot.
And my mama, smiling like the sun through the branches of that sycamore, said, of course I'll marry you. And then you know what I'll do? I'm gonna give you the most beautiful, smartest, sweetest little baby girl that anyone has ever known.
That's exactly what she did.
My mother told me some years later that they actually met in a laundromat on 12th Street, and that Mom was 3 months pregnant with me when they got married. But I don't care. It's not what you remember. It's how you remember it. And I'll always see them together on a bright, blue, sunshiny day under a huge sycamore tree by a lake as smooth as my mom's cheeks.
Emotion is thought expressed in the body.
Samantha was an extremely bright child.
What I started with was literally the physical life of a 3-year-old. And we first got in there, and there was a stool. And Barry said, well, why don't you sit on the stool? And I said, well, let me try something over. So I started hanging over the stool, climbing on the stool, all of that, which then took me into the kid, if you will.
She refused to be toilet trained. We had gotten her this little potty trainer when she was 2, wouldn't go near it.
Go.
But don't you want to be a big girl?
Go.
Hey, you're almost 3 years old. Aren't you embarrassed?
Go.
I enjoyed the military daughter one the most, where I'm talking about how amazing my father is.
My father is amazing.
Not true, just a man.
Do you know that he was in 3 branches of the service? From the Korean War to Vietnam, he served in the Army, the Air Force, and the Marines.
I did my duty as an American.
How Dad? You did.
What did you say?
Sorry, sir.
Did you call me Dad?
Yes, sir.
Don't let it happen again.
He
was always, yes sir, no sir, I don't understand.
What is it that you do not understand?
He's 6'7".
6'6" and 7/8".
Yes sir, one of the most handsome men that ever lived.
You place far too much value on appearance, my dear.
My father was always strict, always opinionated, and always right. It seemed to me that he knew the right way to do everything, and everything had to be done like so. I remember him teaching me how to do so many things, and it was always like so. I haven't lived with my father for years now, and I still hear myself repeating, like so, especially when I'm really focused on my work.
That's my girl.
He was never really the type to be affectionate.
You had your mother for affection. My role was to teach you self-discipline, to prepare you for the world.
But I always knew you loved me.
I always knew you loved me, sir.
Sir.
Yeah, you're right. I always loved you. Very much.
It's an opportunity for me, those words mean so much to me, to be able to honor my dad every single night because he was a great dad.
I've never met a man with so much integrity, someone so worthy of respect and admiration. I've never met a man so principled, so tall, so tall.
6'6" and 7/8".
I've never, ever met a man who could measure up. And the older I get, the more certain I am that I never will.
Oh, now those tears are a waste of time. You've got better things to do.
Yes, sir.
There's over 100 characters in here, and instead of naming them all and trying to cast each one of them, I actually started with the idea of using just 6 actors, 3 men, 3 women.
I think had anybody told me, you're going to be playing 20 some odd characters all in one show, I would have been quaking in my boots.
And they just split apart very evenly so that all 6 actors now play the parts that they really should be playing.
I don't remember how old I was, but I couldn't have been more than 2 or 3.
I was born during a hurricane.
Here's a big chunk of money. Go and be a teacher.
And I will never, ever forget for as long as I live.
Mom died 3 years ago. Cancer. So I'm the only one that's got it.
My wife and I both play with the symphony. I'm second violin, she's first cellist.
He left home when I was 10.
I was not what you'd call a perfect father. Then she points and says,
Oh, what's that? Aren't you going to say anything to your daughter about the way she's dressed? Just look at it.
Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me.
I just saw God.
get your pancakes, get your red hot pancakes.
I'm gay. Do you know what gay is?
The summer of my 10th spell in Monroe died. My father actually cried. Do you believe it?
My father didn't think my mom was nothing special.
And then the policeman took Daddy to jail.
I don't think I saw my father for more than a few minutes a week.
They both spoiled me so good.
When I decided to join the sisterhood, Dad was not pleased.
How can she love me if she don't know me?
She was just crossing the street in the morning. 7:28, according to the sheriff. No rain, no fog, no nothing. Just my 16-year-old daughter crossing the street and that young man's car going at least 65 miles an hour. When the preacher is preaching the funeral of his daughter and the emotion that he lets out that comes in from the human side, although he's a spiritual leader and he knows that she has gone to a better place, and he as a role model or as a spiritual leader has to exude that. And Jesus was there because it was her time and he needed her more than I did. A witness standing in front of the school said that she must have shot up 20 feet in the air before coming down on her head. Can you imagine 20 feet? Police said she didn't feel a thing once her head hit the asphalt. She was what the doctors called brain dead. But I can't help wondering what it was like from the time the car hit her to the time her head hit the ground. And I helped her in the hospital with those tubes running in and out of her body. And I could feel that Jesus was in there with me, waiting patiently for his sweet angel. And she was looking up at me. The doctor said she didn't really see me, but you know, I think she did see me. And I said goodbye. And her breathing just stopped. And my little girl flew away to heaven in the arms lady.
One character that really disgusts me is the one where the father walks in on the daughter and she's laying in bed.
I heard the door of my bedroom. The slits in my eyes. I saw my father step inside the room. I didn't want him to know that I knew he was there, so I just pretended to be asleep.
That type of thing disgusts me, and I really hate, I don't like characters like that. I don't like people like that, so it's really difficult to do it.
I felt him staring at me. He stood there for what seemed like... He stood there much too long.
It's one of those things where, people say, oh, wow, you were real good as that child molester. It's like, yeah, right, everything else, they remember that.
Probably the favorite part was the favorite daughter.
You two can believe anything you want, but I know I was his favorite. How the hell do you know this? He told me. He told me too. Me too.
But if I would line up everybody, depending on your age, fill it in. If I line up every girl that was 18 years old, I would pick you.
He said no matter how many beautiful girls there are in the world, nobody is more beautiful than you.
And then Daddy hugged me real tight and told me that I was his lucky charm.
He tucked me into bed and he said that no matter how many little girls he had,
you are very,
that I would always be very,
very special indeed.
I was his favorite. You were not.
And I enjoy the direct audience address aspect of it, the actual storytelling. Storytelling is a noble calling. It's hard to do. It's a different kind of acting.
And we're at the airport in Minneapolis checking our bags, and finally it hit me. I was never going to see my mom again. And I just broke down. Right at baggage check-in, I just fell into my dad's arms and sobbed. And everybody's looking, hundreds of people, and I just can't stop. And suddenly this check-in guy taps me on the shoulder, and I'm like, who the hell are you, man? I'm with my daddy. And he says,
I'm sorry to bother you, miss, but you'll have to open your baggage.
and I said, what? I was like somewhere else entirely, and he says,
Something is making noise inside your baggage, and we'll have to inspect it.
this guy tells me to
Open your bag, ma'am.
Just then I realized what the noise is. And I say, I'd really rather not open it if you don't mind. It's just an electric razor. The battery will run out in a minute. And then my dad says,
Just open it.
so I open the bag and there's my vibrator jumping around inside one of my shoes.
Okay, then you can turn that thing off now. Close your bag.
My dad didn't say a word. The entire time from check-in to the time that we boarded that airplane, neither of us said a thing. Finally, we sat in our seats and my dad turns to me and says,
You're just like your mother.
I have to say I really enjoy the commercial photographer scene for my own personal reasons and my own relationship with my father. This one day, dry, hot summer day, my dad took me around the ranch taking pictures. I totally forgot about that. Isn't that strange? And that was such a good day. His hobby was photography, and I remember he had this beautiful old camera.
Look at his lens. They don't make them like this anymore.
And a brown camera bag made of such soft leather. My dad drove me around the ranch in this beat-up, rusted pickup truck with a huge smile on his face, taking pictures of me.
All right, honey, a little to your left. No, your other left.
He even let me take pictures of him. I never got to see those pictures. I don't even know if there was film in the camera, but
What's the difference?
that was such a good day. And now I'm a commercial photographer. And I have a brown camera bag made of such soft leather. It brings me around to some really wonderful memories that I have myself.
I enjoyed it very much. I am actually Claire's father.
It's very touching for me.
It was very good, very poignant, very poignant.
You know, when you try to protect yourself from missing your kids when they're gone, and then you find an old picture in a junk drawer, or you hear a song that you used to do a funny dance to, or it hits you on the head like an old ringhead. And you think about how much love and laughs, and about how much you must have missed.
I feel myself speaking his words.
I find myself writing in his voice. I'll smell his aftershave for just a wisp of a moment, and then it's gone. Too biz. My childhood prayers were answered.
My father is still very much alive.
In me.
In me.
Thank you.